Joining me now to discuss is Nationals frontbencher Barnaby Joyce. Barnaby, good to see you. Greens leader Adam Bandt has said in a press release that this new discussion about net zero is, quote, nothing more than hot air. Do you think Australians battling to pay their power bills would share Adam Bandt's carefree attitude?
Not only that, we've got Australians, we've got people who are doing it tough. I'm down in Tasmania at the moment. We can't afford to keep their house warm. We can't afford the basics because they can't afford the power. I mean, this is something that we're supposed to be able to deliver to the Australian people. Not only that, I'd ask Adam Bandt, what manufacturer is trying to move to Australia? Well, I can tell you the ones that are moving out, Adam. Our plastics industry, our aluminium industry, our refining of oil industry, now even food processing. I mean, we have to realise we've got to have a reality check. This nation has to become as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. When you look at the global dynamics, China, the Communist Party of China, growing in power all the time. We are living in a realm where your sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters are going to live in a different Australia to you. You have a responsibility to make this nation strong. And if you shut down our electricity grid, if you shut down the capacity for us to basically have the basis, the seed stock of what is required for this nation, I think you're doing a treacherous thing. And so it's the affordability for people in the weatherboard 9, and it's the strength of your nation as a whole.
Well, the other thing that Adam Bandt said is that he gives Peter Dutton Buckleys of winning the next election because of this energy policy. But, you know, latest polling from the IPA released today would say that maybe Dutton's on a winner with this. 57% of Australians now say affordability is the number one issue for energy policy. 24% say reliability is the number one factor, and only 19% say the most important thing is reaching net zero. So it seems like the coalition may well be on a winner with this.
Well, if you're in a house and you can't keep warm, and I said to you, what's important to you? You'd say, I can't afford my power bill, mate. That's what's important to me. You know, what are you doing? Or if you ask someone at the checkout who's having to pay for the price of power through the cost of food, and they lose that dignity, you know, they've gone from steak back to mince, and they're on their way to pasta, and say, mate, what's important to you? She'll say to you, well, I can't afford this. You've taken away my standard of living. You've made me poorer. And, you know, these are the things that are absolutely fundamental. As they say in everything, when poverty walks in the door, love flies out the window. And love for so much in regards to, you know, your 20, 30 targets, that's gone. Yeah, and I hope if Adam Bandt, if he wants a political lesson, I'll say to this, mate, you just keep on banging on about your 20, 30 targets and all that. And I'll say to Mr. Bone, yeah, follow him right up. And Mr. Albanese, you go on and jump on your soapbox and scream that stuff out. And I'll tell you, mate, you'll get every vote in Balmain. And you'll get nearly every vote in Wallara. And you'll get Buckleys and none away from there.
Well, the other issue, Barnaby, I want to ask you about is immigration. The Australian Bureau of Statistics have released new figures showing Australia's taking in 10,000 immigrants per week. That's right now. I thought we were cutting back. If people thought the housing crisis was bad, it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Well, the question you've got to ask yourself, James, is it's not just the 10,000 people. You need the roads for 10,000 people. You need the schools for 10,000 people. You need the hospitals. You need the parks. I mean, where are you putting these people? That's Gunnedah, the town of Gunnedah, arriving every week. And if you like, I'm just using that as an example, you know, Gunnedah's got high schools, schools, doctors. So all these other people turning up, where are you putting them? Well, I got a rough idea. You're stacking them one on top of the other in the middle of Sydney, and it doesn't matter how good your roads go, how many tunnels you build, you just have been completely clogged up. You haven't even got a policy to get them out of regional Australia. And even if you took them out there, you haven't invested in the dams, in the rail, in the infrastructure to fully support this population you're bringing in. So it's not an argument against people's creed or colour. It's an argument on just the logic of it. You can't do this unless you want to get them into regional areas. And to get them into regional areas, you've got to invest in the dams and the roads and the infrastructure. And if you don't do that, I tell you, folks, they're going to one spot. They're going to the middle of Sydney. They're going to the southwest suburbs of Sydney. They're going to the middle of Melbourne. They're going to the middle of Brisbane, and they're going out into the suburbs. And your crowding problems and your congestion problems are just going to be magnified tenfold.
Well, Barnaby, I drive on Sydney roads and I promise you the traffic proves your point right. Barnaby Joyce, thanks for joining me tonight.
Always a pleasure.